Hi, Annie Lee. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
So we love your piece, and we were curious because it was one of a series of pieces.
hmm
And we wanted to know what you learned from doing this particular series.
I guess I work in series pretty much all the time. So this is actually one of the series that I'll be working on at the same time as like other series. And only because I realized as a young artist when I was in college, when I was never really satisfied with one I guess, product or one work that I will produce with an idea. So if I had an idea and I painted something, I can never walk away thinking I had accomplished what I wanted to communicate. So then this whole idea of a series came out because then I can continue to work on the same topic, but really go into the depth. And then sometimes I'll be working on one concept and walk away from it, and maybe a few months later I'll come back and revisit, and it will develop even more. So it's kind of like ongoing series. So I call this one the Perfect Wife series, which I like. I'm so far from being a perfect wife, but we as a mother or kind of like a wife, I think we kind of go through the whole cycle of how we consider as an identity crisis, I guess. So for me, being an artist, I couldn't just be a full-time artist or full-time even a mother or wife. I have to always, it's almost like a slicing a pie, always coming to a stage where I felt like I needed to make time for to do certain things at a time. So all my this Perfect Wife series is kind of like going back to the idea of how I changed as an artist because I became the wife. If that makes sense. Yes.
Yes, yes,
So the piece that you see there, can I talk about that too, or
yes,
is that
yes.
another question? I don't know. So in that piece, I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's obviously a lady in a traditional Korean kind of a garment, and washing clothes,
Mhm.
right? So that kind of gives you kind of like the background picture of me being Korean American. So I have the value that I carry on as a Korean person, and the things that I guess I learned from my mother or and grandmother, right? So even though I grew up here, there are things that it just gets embedded in your soul and body that you really can help. So being perfect, you have to do everything perfect in terms of being the wife is so embedded. Again, far from being perfect, but those are so embedded in me that it just comes natural. So I kind of kept that in mind. And then obviously when you also see it, the idea of kind of detaching the figure from the, I guess, little laundry, I don't know, like a little basket on the
Yes.
bottom, right? Yeah. So that kind of a labor intensive idea on top of being the wife, because a lot of people think that it could be just a title having a wife, but there are a lot of physical labor that comes with it that we as a woman take on as a role in the household. And I don't think it's any different from me to you or anyone else, right? So, yeah.
That's so interesting.
Thank you.
So you said you changed. This is not one of the questions yet here, but you said through this series, it shows we don't see the other pieces, but how you changed as an artist throughout
Mhm.
this series. So can you describe how that happened for you?
So this is another one, and it's very different, but yet there are a lot of similar ideas that's going in here. So when I was developing that, this also came into mind. So you kind of get an idea how I develop my ideas as an artist. So if that whole idea of a labor and intensive, like the laundry image that was on there, and then as I'm developing, I'm constantly still digging through more because I know there are more that I can, get it out.
Mhm.
So this image came afterwards, and this obviously is not typically, like, I don't want people to look at a figure and go, oh, that must be Annie Lee Zimerle. No, it's just a woman, a
Right.
female, or a mother or wife, you know what I mean? So there's a somewhat unknown, but yet we can all say that it could be a female figures, doing some kind of a work with pigs, but very like a mechanical repetition, right? So when you look at it, those are the gloves that we wear when we're doing hand washing dishes, right? And obviously a typical, like a uniform or a clothes that maybe a chef may wear behind the kitchen, and I have hot pink, neon-y pink, cute, but yet probably dead or whatnot, like all lined up. So I kind of wanted to portray that factory effect of look where a lot of times like we do certain things, but it's so repetitive and daily that it's almost like, yeah, we're on a factory line. We're doing everything every day, all the time, right? And I realized, even as a wife or a mother, sometimes these repetition is obviously physically draining, but yet very soothing, which is so weird. So I sometimes find when I'm so stressed with all the work, right, just washing dishes at night kind of calms me down, right? So kind of juxtaposing the idea of physical labor yet mentally healing kind of played along when I did this.
Can you, Annie, describe the printmaking process that you used for this piece?
Mm-hmm. So the process that I used in the Perfect series is all screen printed. I was trained at first as a painter and drawer. That's where I have my bachelor's degree. And what I loved about printmaking was obviously having multiple of things that you create rather than just having one. But within screen printing, like I love how vibrant colors I can get that I couldn't get from, I guess, from etching or woodcut, right? So that was one of the medium that I was drawn to as a printmaker at first. And I still love screen printing only because I can layer just literally a lot of colors and still can get that vibrant look to my print. So I have screen printing, and I believe with this particular print, I also used monoprint. Only because I wanted to create the organicness of laundry or the fabric rather than the flat look of screen printing that's like just in layers, right? So I am somewhat contrasting with the figure that looks very kind of a geometric, right? Within the colors and shapes with more natural organic look with the laundry in her background. But has been created with the monotype.
Well, we really love your piece. And again, thank you so much for participating in the Imago community show.